because it's so easy to do if you just put in the odd extra client here or the odd extra client there, and it quickly mounts up, and you burn out eventually. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Massage and Physical Therapist Roundtable Talk Show. In the last episode, we were asking our panel for advice for newly qualified therapists. So if you want to check that out, just see the playlist below. So in each episode, we pick a topic as chosen by you and discuss it from different perspectives within the therapy world. I'm your host, Kate Brown, and on our panel today, we have Imogen Tester, massage therapist. We have Chris Madden, massage therapist and reflexologist, and we have Claire King, massage therapist and craniosacral therapist. And apologies from Tamar Morsi and Anna Maria Mazzieri, who unfortunately can't make it today. So thank you for joining us again this morning. How's everyone doing? Everyone good? January off to a good start?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, not bad. Just been, nice and busy, which is always good. It has felt good. Like a very, very long month. In fact, I kind of thought at one point I was going into March, not February, but anyway. But I'm back on track. And all good. It's so nice that the sun is out for a bit.
Yes, isn't it lovely?
No, it's not in Manchester.
No. Oh. Sorry, Chris. I have to come more south.
Yeah, I don't think the sun's ever out in Manchester, to be honest. But does anyone feel that this month's just gone really fast?
No.
Maybe Manchester's just gone a parallel universe to the south of the country, but some will probably argue that it is. But no, for me, it's gone well. It's gone well fast. More of a blur. Which today's topic's quite a good one for that, I think. But I think it's been like one long day the whole of the month. That's why I think it's gone fast, personally. But yeah.
Well, that leads us into our topic nicely, doesn't it? So today's topic, we are asking how to avoid burnout as a therapist, which I think we're all sort of jesting a bit before, which is quite funny because we're all a little bit guilty of not looking after ourselves and giving too much and saying yes and we should say no. So this is another great topic. I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone has to say. So would anyone like to start the conversation today and tell us a bit about your tips for avoiding burnout, maybe what to look out for, so you can see when something is approaching? Yeah, Claire, you kick us off.
So I guess what to look out for, it's about kind of knowing yourself, I think, but also I was going to say, first of all, I think sometimes it's unavoidable. You kind of almost have to get there to then pull it back and then stop and assess and see how you're feeling. So for me, in fact, since the pandemic, I've been so much better actually at managing everything. Before, I think the things I would look out for was, of course, tiredness and physical tiredness, kind of getting into bed and thinking, oh my goodness me, that is, I'm really, really tired. And also for me, grumpiness, and not with my clients, but with my family. And so that's like, and I have 2 kids. So that's a really clear indicator for me. If I've got too much going on, that's when I kind of stop and think, oh, right, I need to kind of pull this back a bit. But so for me, they're the indicators. Obviously for everyone it's personal. But those are the things that kind of that jump out for me. But as I said before, since the pandemic, I've been much better. And for me, it's all about structure and structuring my week. But I can go into that on the next kind of point if you want, Kate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Thanks, Claire. I think you're right that the pandemic was sort of an interesting one in that we were all forced to stop and we were all forced to sort of take stock and think about things and rest, which we're sort of not used to having such a prolonged period of not doing physical work. So the pandemic, I'm sure, has probably given actually an opportunity to a lot of us to realize how we feel when we're not, doing so much physical work, and also sort of emotional loading as well with our work. So I'm sure that has been quite a useful sort of mirror for a lot of people. Great. Imogen, do you want to carry on that conversation?
Yeah, like Claire said, like my partner will definitely testify that you hold it in for your clients because you're professional, you're lovely, and then you get home and just and I definitely, like Claire, get very snarky and grumpy, and that is a definite sign that I need to do something. Because you carry on being professional at work, so it is then your home life that then suffers, and then you stop doing the things that you enjoy that actually are the things that you probably should be doing to stop burnout. So for me, I noticed if my running starts going out the window because I'm too tired, or I'm not eating as well as I should do because I'm so tired, or maybe I'm drinking a little bit more than I should do because I'm sort of tired or frazzled at the end of each day. And so ironically, all the things that we think of as self-care when we are really approaching burnout tend to go out the window. So definitely the pandemic gave us a real chance to step back and look at our work-life balance, which was quite scary, and especially if you're like me and complete workaholic and absolutely love my job, and it kind of is my hobby as well. It's hard sometimes to step back a wee bit from that, and you can get a little bit too focused in it. But then conversely, because we were working and then not working and working and not working, so every time we went back to working, you're like, oh my God, I've got to catch up, got to see all the people, do all the things. So you have this sort of waves of doing too much followed by not doing enough, which wasn't so good. So yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, definitely I get told very firmly by my other half when he notices.
Well, hear that we're not the only ones, so yes. So Chris, do you want to carry on any of those points? Do you get grumpy? I can't imagine you being grumpy for some reason. I don't.
You know what?
Your DNA.
Everyone says that, so I don't get grumpy, but I'll just go quiet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to get grumpy, so I'll just sulk instead if I'm worn out or tired. But it's a fine line, obviously, because we all need to work, and with everything going up, the cost of living's going up, everything's going up. We have, obviously, we've all got mortgages or rent to pay, and we need to work. So obviously, you need to balance that, don't you? Now, our line of work, I feel it does pay well, but obviously there's a lot of things people don't realise go into it. That's not just within that hour that you're treating the client. But the one thing for me, hands-on wise, really sort of like a light bulb moment changed was when post-pandemic, when we first reopened, and I put them hour gaps in between my sessions. Because I realised, I could still fit like 5 sessions in a day maybe, and then obviously I know everyone's circumstances are different, what they need to earn in a day, or what against what they may be paying out on rent and stuff. But if I did 5 sessions in a day and I've got an hour gap in between, it's a lovely day. It's a really nice day, and on paper it's only 5 hours of actual hands-on work with an hour gap in between. So I've got time to clean, I've got time to have a brew, eat my lunch, check my emails on my phone, whatever it might be. So it is quite a nice day, and that compared to doing even the same 5 hours of sessions, but with only like 15 minutes in between, it's like you feel completely different at the end of the day, even though you've kind of condensed it all. So then you might have more time in the evening or more time with the day to do something else. Sometimes that's not the most important thing. I think, you need to pace yourself because it is a physical job. I was saying this month's felt like one big blur, and it kind of has, because our corporate clients have started back again, and I'm quite short-staffed with that, with people have had to take other jobs and stuff over the pandemic, as you can expect, when our industry closed. So I've kind of been jumping on and doing a lot of that as well, of ones that I wouldn't normally do on top of all my other day-to-day stuff. So I think it's just felt like one big blur, and I have kind of got home at the evenings and just been a bit like, ugh. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, God, I've not sent that invoice. I've not done this yet. Someone's emailed me, hey, are you going to send that invoice? And I'm like, dead nice, like, yes, I'll do it as soon as I get, a second, kind of like, shut up, stop marrying me. But yeah, it's a lot to take on. But it's funny because all my friends, they always see me as like, because when they try and get in touch with me and my phone's off, it's because I'm sat in like the steam room or the sauna or something, at the gym in the jacuzzi, and they've just got this image that I just like float about and just like do the odd treatment here and there, and then just spend half my time in the gym or in the jacuzzi, just chilling. I do try to add that into my day as a job, if you like, so like today I've got a 2-hour slot blocked out where I'm going to go, and I'll go and sit in the steam room, I'll sit in the sun, I'll do some swimming, because I do see that as important as actually working, and I am quite good at that. It's just this month's been a bit of a busy one to finger, and I can see how easy it is to fall off the wagon, if you like. Yeah, so for me, I book in a lot of treatments for myself as well. Throughout the month, I try and at least have one a month, like one massage treatment a month that I've booked in, I've paid. And funnily enough, this maybe you'll have to test me on this on the next session, but I started doing a French lesson once a week as well at the minute. Just like in the morning, nice and early on Zoom. That I'm paying for to do with some French tutor, just to give me mind something different to be focusing on for an hour. So I think little things like that are quite nice.
I'm definitely going to ask you something in French in the next podcast. I'm going to make a note of that.
The bad thing is, though, I've done about 3 lessons now, and I've been that busy in between. I feel like I'm just not taking any of it in, but maybe it's just there somewhere, and like one day someone will ask me something in French, and I'll just full blown just start like going for it. Who knows? But yeah, going off on a tangent now.
It's good to have different sort of hobbies and activities blended into what you're doing, for sure. I've actually just started picking up Spanish again.
Oh, nice.
Just from the other night, I used the app Duolingo, and then I was going to go to, there's a place in Stroud called Galgos, and they do a Spanish evening where you just turn up and you can just kind of chat to other people informally in Spanish and practice, which I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's something nice and different to do, and it's not a sport and it's not physical. I can just go and enjoy and unwind and do something a bit different. So
well, in the next
good
episode,
self-care.
We'll have to all speak to each other in different language. That's our task.
Hola.
Oui.
Great. Yeah.
There we go.
Typical British speaking other languages.
Yeah.
So that's great. So Chris, you kind of took us into some of our next points there about things that you implement. So you were talking about sort of different self-care things that you do for yourself, making time for that, having a treatment for yourself. So Claire, do you want to talk a bit about what you have in place, any things that you implement, tips and tricks that you can share?
Yes, well, I really structure my week, again, since the pandemic. So I think what I try and do is fit my business around my life rather than the other way around. And that was what I was doing before the pandemic. So I was slotting everyone in and they were all happy, but I was running here, there and everywhere trying to fit the dog walk in. And whereas now what I do, and I think it's a really nice thing to do, is write down what your ideal week looks like and then work towards it. It might not be possible to start with, and financially you might need to fit more people in, but it's a really nice place to start. So I wrote down my ideal week, and like Chris, you know, the structure has now changed in that I have those breaks in between. So it's generally an hour, sometimes 45 minutes if I need to fit in another person. But it just makes it like a really nice day. And again, time to come in, do my emails, you know, always, you know, structure. So I send my reminders first thing in the morning for the next day. And that works. And also I also do have lots of treatments. I just thought I'm just going to do that now if I can. So I swapped with a friend. So I have acupuncture, I have massage, and I have craniosacral therapy every month. And I feel like that's the right thing to do for me. And I feel like I need it in order to give the best that I can give in my work. So, but yeah, for me, I think structure is really an important thing. And I think, you know, it's a good thing to just plan your week. And I just have specific time slots that I have, and everyone knows about those. And so, you know, they book in, they ask for that specific time slot. But yeah, structure, I think it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you said about writing down your ideal week is a really good idea, actually. And having those boundaries or having that structure. Something that I make sure that I do in my diary now, which I didn't used to do. If I've got extra work for any reason, I've put in an extra person, or I'm working a Saturday as well as my usual week, then I will make sure that I now compensate for that. So I will make sure that I take off an additional day the next week, or if I can sort of take out a day of that week, I will do, just to make sure that I'm not sort of overworking, because it's so easy to do if you just put in the odd extra client here or the odd extra client there, and it quickly mounts up, and you burn out eventually. Treat yourself as you treat your clients, and I think that's a really good little tagline to keep in your head.
The Massage and Physical Therapist talk show is brought to you by Massage Warehouse. Run by therapists for therapists, we're committed to solving common issues you might encounter in your massage therapy practice. Here at Massage Warehouse, we understand how important your massage table is to you, and how much you try to keep your table protected. However, accidents can happen. The last thing any therapist wants to see is an unsightly tear, rip, or mark on their table. Not only do these marks look bad, there is a chance that they will grow and cause even more damage to your table. Many therapists think they'll have to replace their entire table. However, we have a solution. Introducing our massage table adhesive repair patches, the simple way to fix tears and prevent further damage to your table. To use the patch, first clean around the area of the tear for any dust or dirt using a dry cloth. Next, peel off the back of the patch. After this, carefully apply the patch over the tear. Finally, smooth around the edges of the repair patch for a perfect application. And your table should be repaired and good to go. Our patches come in 3 different colours: black, navy and cream. We have different size repair patches available, and should you have a uniquely shaped tear on your upholstery, we can create a custom size repair patch for you. Check out our website massagewarehouse.co.uk to see the full range. Now back to the show.
Imogen, do you want to carry on? Any tips and tricks or things that you implement?
Yeah, and like Chris, I think one of the best things that came out of the pandemic thing was like I just take half an hour between clients now, and it just makes so much difference. I'm not mentally, I've been lucky. I've never really burnt out physically, but emotionally and mentally, absolutely. And it just gives you that space to reset your headspace, to write your notes, get everything sorted. If you've got emails or booking inquiries coming in, you can deal with all of that, breathe, actually go to the loo, have a drink, reset before the next client. And I, you know, I've cut down a lot. So I was doing pre-pandemic 10 clients a day, and I've cut down a lot. And it just, my other half definitely, back to him again, notices that I come in and I'm not, shut up, don't speak to me, just speak to me. I'm a little bit more human when I come home. I really enjoy my commute. Everyone always, you know, you've got a half-hour drive to work, but actually I love that time. That's my decompressing time. And I use it to listen to a podcast and just wind down. So when I walk through the door, I'm nice Immy, not like grumpy, frazzled Immy. I definitely have started, like Claire, making sure that I do have like the odd treatment at least one a month for me, but also it's quite nice to be the client, and you sort of forget little things like when you're massaging someone, sometimes you think, someone's paying for this, and then you have it done, you're like, oh god, yes, that's lovely. So it's good from both points of view. But the main thing that I've started doing that's really helped is sort of adding self-care things. I've been trying to take things out of my life. So I'm terrible. I want all the shiny things. I want to read every book. I want to read every blog. I want to listen to every podcast, follow everything. And I've started just having to say, you know what, I can't do everything. And I've got to read list on my phone, and I just plant it in there. It's there if I have time at some point. I've not lost it, but I don't feel there's a couple of really good subscription services that I was on that are fantastic and I love, but I just wasn't having the time to do them. And then I felt guilty, and that pressure, that was added pressure, it sort of sat over me. So much as I thought they were fantastic and I loved them, I'm not doing those at the moment because I've got other things on that I need to concentrate on. So cutting things out has helped a lot, and cutting things out as in jobs as well. So farming jobs off on other people. So I send a lot of my laundry to a laundrette now, and things like that I don't have to do. Some of my marketing I get someone else to do now, just because I'm rubbish on the computer. It takes me ages and a lot of swearing. She can do it in 2 minutes. And so I farm out a lot of the things that I don't enjoy doing, and I'm rubbish at them. So I've got the energy to do the things that I do enjoy. I'm quite good at, like massage. So I've got the energy then to spend on my clients. I'm trying to time block. I've started taking every other Friday off. I probably need to take a day off each week, in all honesty. It's that balance between needing to make enough money and not frazzling out. But I'm slowly inching my way to being a little bit more balanced there. And I love my Fridays off. Yeah. So that's a nice thing as well. And trying to sort of block a period of time out. I've got a lot of assessments I'm doing at the moment, and if I've got a quieter looking day, or if someone cancels, I will, with very firmly in pen, scribble out across my diary, so I don't think, oh no, I just booked someone in there. No. Time block.
Do you work all weekend as well then?
No, I don't work weekends. But weekends are spent doing my assignments at the moment, or on courses. Like this weekend, I'm on a course. Next weekend, I've blocked out to do my assignment. The weekend after that, I'm on a course. So yeah, so I definitely need to be careful. I'm on the edge.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We do have to be so careful about how much we put into our diaries. And as you said, taking things out is actually a really sensible thing to do, and just assessing what is necessary and what we're good at doing and what we, could do, and then maybe what you can outsource to somebody else. So yeah, absolutely. If you're able to outsource the odd thing, then that is a great weight off your to-do list. So Chris, I know you've already kind of talked a bit about your self-care that you do. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us about things that you've implemented or tips and tricks?
Well, I just think, like, obviously, if you feel like you're burning out and you've got too much on, then you need to look at which bits you really like. I mean, I'm sure we've probably touched on this in other chats as well, but which bits you really like, and which are the bits that are then adding the extra strain. So obviously we clearly all like doing the actual treatments themselves, and if we could always just do that and not have to do all the other stuff, then that would be great. You know, I mean, obviously you could do that. You could go and work for a spa, couldn't you? But then they'll pay you peanuts, and then, you know, some people do that because they can turn up, they can work for the day, and they can go home. You know, they've got no stress, they've got no, you know, it's no worries, if you like, of the business side of things, because you're just there to work and you come home. But I couldn't do that. You know, I like running my own thing. I like, you know, knowing what I'm doing, and I do enjoy the business side of things as well, and I like seeing things grow, and but things like admin, you know, if it's getting to a point where that's too much, you know, and you've not got the time to take a day to catch up with it, then you balance that off with probably easier to just pay someone to keep on top of your admin. You know, you can get these like virtual assistants now, and I'm not quite sure how it works, but basically it's you're paying someone that's not in the room with you to do your admin for you. So you give them a quick talk through of what's gone on. But for me, I used to find I was spending so much time emails to and fro until I moved to an online booking system that takes the payment, that does everything all there, and then the only email to and fro is the nice introduction to the client if it's a new client. If it's regular clients that come all the time, it means that that's just cut out completely, because, you know, they know me, I know them, they've been coming for years, so they can just go on, see what's available on the booking system, book themselves in, bang, and then I just see them on the day. You know, they know where they come in, they know how, you know, they know the don't turn left at that road because that's the dead end. You know, they know all that. I don't have to do that with them, and that cuts so much time out, and just little things like that. But I do think, you know, I myself, you know, if I get busier, I maybe put someone on admin one day a week and pay someone a day a week just to keep on top of emails, you know, or 2 days a week, one at Mondays and Fridays, so that you know that throughout the week, at the start and at the end, everything's getting caught up with. And because I don't know about you, but it pains me to see my inbox full of emails that I know, like, it really sort of, I'm sat there in the steam room or the jacuzzi thinking, no, I've got to categorize those emails into folders, you know, and that adds stress though, and adds burnout as well, because you're constantly thinking, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Yeah, so I think prioritizing and you know, delegating is a massive thing, because the more of that we do, the more we can be available to do our actual job, you know, the job we actually signed up for. And even down to, I've seen a lot of people stressing about doing their accounts recently as well. You know, it's the end of Jan was for a lot of people is when they need to get the tax returns in, and that's a big stress for a lot of people as well. So, I mean, I do my own accounts just because I keep on top of it every week. That's something I've always done, but just pay an accountant to do it if it's going to be a stress, because for that, whatever they charge you, 300 quid, whatever it might be, up for a year, it's not, you know, you know, it's not a biggie, if you plan ahead. So I just think delegating is the main thing to help you avoid burnout, or working less. But that depends, doesn't it? I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? You know, it'd be nice to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off and just do like three top days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week. That would be like the dream, wouldn't it? But like you said, there's a lot of people and not enough time sometimes.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Those are some really good tips. And just picking up on what you were saying about trying to automate some parts of the business, like the online booking system, that made a massive difference to my business and the way that I work, although it's sort of a hybrid system. Like if a group wants to book in, then they have to sort of come through me, and it's done manually. But just for individual treatments, they can be booked in online, and they get all the information when they book as well. So I attach what I call a client information document, and that has everything in it from, you know, adaptations around COVID to, you know, what to expect when the therapist arrives, and how the session closes. Anything that they might get in touch to ask me about, I've already answered, so that they don't need to get in touch and, you know, ping back lots of emails back and forth. So things like that, which, you know, it doesn't take very long putting together a document like that and just attaching it automatically to every booking confirmation. I also have it on my frequently asked questions on the website. So there's all this information is right there available, and it saves you so much time. So yeah, things like that are worth their weight in gold for sure.
Consultation forms as well, that was another
Yeah,
one, is
absolutely.
having that, and then you can obviously, you've got time to read it ahead of, and then you can then get in touch with them to discuss any specific things, but it just cuts out straight away. They make the booking, they fill the form in, they put the card details in, so everything's just done, and then you can do the good bit, which is chatting to the client and treating them, which is what, you know, we want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You are kind of making the most of your time and not having to do all the unnecessary legwork. So yeah. Claire, did you want to say something? I could sort of see.
I'm just nodding because, yeah, systems and templates, you know, email templates, like if you are doing stuff manually, you know, there's a remind, you know, just setting up things that you can copy and paste, or that you've got templates there. So just, yes, just streamlining as much as you can, like Chris said, get rid of the bits that you don't like and just make it all automated. You know, for me, my little point of sale iZettle that I've got, absolutely brilliant, and it's so good now because they've increased the price, so people just tap as well. That's brilliant. Just saves time. People don't even look. Well, I definitely don't. Just, you know, tap away. So that's great. And just another point I was going to go on to was about boundaries and saying no to people if you can't treat them, if you can't, you know, that burnout thing again, like, can I physically and mentally take 3 more people on over the course of this week? Maybe you could do 1, but to be able to say no to people is really difficult, particularly when you're starting out, but it's really important. And what I do is I say no, but here you're on my cancellation list. And that kind of does 2 things. It reassures them that you are keen to still work with them. It's just not saying no. And it also then shows that you have a cancellation list, that you are that popular, and that they do need to organise themselves and get ahead and book. If they snooze, they lose. So, you know, I think the cancellation list is a really good tool in terms of marketing. And also then it removes your worry. So you're not worrying about the client. So, you're not worrying for them, like, well, what will they think of me, this and that. You could, you know, which I've been guilty of myself. It just says, right, here's my cancellation list. That's my boundary. Please book in for next month, or I can book you in for 2 weeks' time and you're on the cancellation list. So I think that's a really good tool.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, definitely. And you are, as you said, sort of generating what's the right word?
Excitement, I guess.
Excitement.
Like, you're popular. You are that, you know, you are that good. You are that popular. And yes, you do need to book a month in advance if you want your slot that you want, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's, it works.
Yeah, good idea. Brilliant. And that sort of leads me on to some points that Anna Maria, who couldn't make the session today, but she wrote some points to share on her behalf. So she was saying it is very hard to say no, just as you were saying, Claire. And that is because we understand the consequences of saying no to someone. You know, quite often they are in pain, or, you know, they are emotionally tired and they really need some self-care. And by us saying no, we are sort of depriving them of that. And we don't want to do that because we're empaths and we want to help people. But of course, by saying no can lead you to take on too much and not be able to cope, just to avoid disappointing your clients. So Anna Maria asked the questions, why you think that client disappointment is more valuable than yours. So really what she's saying is, you know, is their disappointment worth more than your ability to cope with the situation. And I think quite often we do actually put ourselves in that situation where we sort of deplete ourselves in order to help someone else. I'm sure we've all done that at some point, and I know I continue to do that from time to time as well. But it's a really a boundary that we should have in place for ourselves. Essentially, she is saying, treat yourself as you treat your clients. And I think that's a really good little tagline to keep in your head. Treat yourself as you treat your clients. So, yeah.
We give all the self-care, and then, you know, we can find ourselves in that situation where we think, right, it's fine, I'm going to work on them, but I'm really tired and my neck's hurting today. But, you know, what would you say to your client? You'd say to your client, rest. You need to rest. Call in sick, or call it not sick, but you know what I mean? Just say, I need an hour off, or, you know, it's just taking your own advice on, I think.
I think as an example with that as well is just from a personal example is I don't really work evenings. I've got a lot of clients that kind of would only be able to come to see me in the evenings. 4 o'clock's my last slot of the day, and I have toyed with the idea of opening up evenings, you know, and I'm constantly toying with that idea. But then I'm thinking, you know, I'm only doing it to please the clients, which is fair enough, because there's a lot that can't come unless they can come in the evening because they work in the days and stuff. But I've always found that a lot of them will have days off in the week, or they've got annual leave to book, and they'll make the time for the session. And that way, if I end up working the evening, it's all well and good working the evening, but there's no way that I'll just not work the day, or I'll just sit around and rest for the day and then think, I'm working in the evening tonight, I'm going to sit and watch Netflix all day and then go to work. I wouldn't be able to. I'd end up doing things, and then before I know it, it becomes a 12-hour day then, whether it's admin all day and then work, you know, doing the treatments in the evening. So I've just 4 o'clock's my last slot, and I've always stuck by that. And if the clients ever sort of say, oh, I can't ever get over in the day, I just say, I'm really sorry, because I'm busy in the days. If I'd never stop if I do the evenings as well. So I just don't work evenings. And I'm sure some have probably then gone elsewhere, you know, and to other therapists that have evening slots available. But that's fine, you know. There's plenty of us, and there's plenty of clients. So it's just what works your mold, really. Some probably like working evenings because it, you know, they've got other stuff on in the day or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Just a few points, practical tips from Anna Maria as well. She says to increase your prices, look at your hourly rate and make sure that that is worthwhile. And that if you know how many treatments you can do in a day, whether that's 3 or 5 or 8 or however many it is, then set your prices to make sure that you are able to earn enough through that. And she also, really good tip actually, look through your year and look for those quieter points. Maybe if you're a new therapist, you can't do this yet, but I know for me, sort of some of the autumn months, like October is usually quite quiet for me. And so, you know, that's a good time to book some time off, you know, book your holiday for when you are quieter. And she says, you know, every 6 weeks, try and book off some time, just even if you're just doing admin, but just not to be practical, not to be doing physical work, and just make sure that you have something in every 6 weeks or so, which I think is also, yeah, a great idea. So does anybody else want to share any final points before we turn off for the session? Yeah, Emmy.
Yeah, I think, you know, on that, we do give a lot, and I think we've all sort of touched on the fact that, you know, we do give not just physically but emotionally a lot. We listen to our clients talking about their burnout, and that, you know, that is exhausting. And then physically, and then a lot of people again don't see, because when they're coming for a treatment, it's lovely and relaxing, they're having a lovely relaxing time, they, like Chris says, they don't realize all the work that goes on behind the scenes, and it's a lot. So pricing, like Anna Maria said, is super important. And I think there is a tendency especially when people are new and starting off, too underpriced. I think there's a tendency in our industry that we don't, I've gone a bit political, but we're not valued. I mean, I feel as an industry, we're not necessarily valued the same as other trades. And our pricing can often reflect that. There's somebody in my local area pricing an hour's massage at £20 at the moment. That's fine. I'm busy. I've got enough clients. It doesn't bother me in that respect, but it bothers me in the fact that it just undermines the value of what we do. And the respect for what we do. You know, I think we all had the dreaded politicians calling us massage parlours over COVID. I think, you know, if we can elevate our industry and the way our industry is seen and respected, and the quality and the hard work, and it is hard work that goes into what we physically, mentally and emotionally do, but also all of that admin and knowledge that we have to bring, you know, that people don't see. You have to know so much that it doesn't affect what you're doing, but you need to know a lot of stuff. And I just think that if we can somehow work together to sort of elevate that respect for our industry, then and charge a decent amount of money for a decent service, that we don't have to kill ourselves working endless hours, you know, and we're not exploited by some of the sort of, you know, bigger spa companies, then we won't have to. Well, you know, that balance is more easily made, and we, you know, you see a lot on forums, people talk about that physical burnout, but maybe we should be having discussions a little bit more about the emotional burnout and about raising respect for massage and what it means for people. I've said my piece.
Thanks, Simi. Yeah, power.
Yeah, because we are, you know, a plumber or a builder would just, if the price that they would charge reflects all of that, and nobody bats an eyelid. Oh yeah, of course, you know. But when we charge a certain amount, oh, really? For a massage? But you know, that's just a bit of oil, isn't it? They've got no overheads. You get that kind of feeling from sometimes, and the answer is no. We're just, you know, we train just as hard. We have just as many expenses. So why are we not held in the same view? I don't know.
And also the cost of living, you know, it's everywhere now, that, you know, it's all over the media. It's for everybody, you know. So we you know, it's basic. You've got to raise your prices, or you've got to you've got to know your worth as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely don't undercharge, because you've trained and you know, you are absolutely.
And those of us who it's our full-time profession, this is what we do full-time, nothing else. And some of us don't have other people to support us, it's our career. You know, I think there is a tendency then for some people who don't rely on that money, and because they enjoy it, it's lovely, they don't rely on that money, so they don't have to charge X amount, but that does bring the whole profession down. So that, but you know, I don't know what the answer is to that.
Well, I think conversations like these are so important and do help to raise awareness about that. And you know, there's a thread on the Facebook page, the Massage Therapists Get Through coronavirus page. That very subject was brought up, and it was great to see a conversation being had about it, because we do find it difficult to talk about money a lot of the time. But yeah, I think it's a really good conversation to have, and I'm sure many people, through listening to this or through seeing the posts on Facebook, will reassess their pricing and see, actually, you know, what am I worth? What are other people charging? What do I need to bring in, more importantly? So yeah, let's keep having these conversations. Great. Well, thank you guys for joining us this morning. Another great chat with you all. Thank you for sharing all your words of wisdom. And yeah, we will see you again in a month's time. If you would like to be alerted to when the next episode goes live, just hit the subscribe button or sign up to our newsletter in the description below. So until next time, see you guys. Bye.
I'm off to the hot tub now. See you later.
Oh, so nice.